So, Bob, I thought we would do a patron-exclusive episode, but I thought we would, during the free portion, answer one email first. What do you say?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Patron Jess from Australia, she says, "Hi, Dr. Kirk and Bob. Your podcast is bloody amazing. I've learned so much over the years, and it's amazing how you still have so much to share. Sometimes you apologize, Kirk, you apologize for rambling, but I think we all love it. I enjoy listening to you and the other co-hosts, especially. It's a lot of fun listening to you and the co-hosts." Just chiming in. Yeah, so on the YouTube channel in particular, I will apologize for rambling. And I edit out a lot. So when people are like, Kirk, you don't ramble, I'm like, well, you don't see the result pre-editing.
Judicious rambling.
Yeah. And those who are sticking around with the podcast and the YouTube channel are a very select group of people that are okay with rambling and yammering. I'm guessing 99% of people who come across my content hate my rambling and would absolutely say that he rambles too much, like I'm doing right now. Going on with the email, I have a question about social anxiety. I'm someone who has worked hard to live with social anxiety and not let it get in my way. So again, patron Jess says social anxiety. My friends describe me as a really social person, and I try to maintain a lot of close relationships as it makes me feel a lot better about being alive. Shout out to your tips for living a good life episode. So I talked about having relationships and friendship going on. This took me a long time to learn, though, as my natural inclination is to never talk to anyone. I grew up as an only child with a single mom with no close family around, so I spent a lot of my time alone compared to people who had siblings. I've done a lot of informal exposure therapy to get where I am now, but I still struggle with meeting new people, especially in large groups. When I'm in a group situation where I don't know anyone, like at a university class or an event, I basically shut down from anxiety and become mute. I have an internal battle going on inside where I know talking to people and making a friend would make the experience infinitely more enjoyable, but I don't actually want to talk to anyone, and I find I have absolutely nothing to say. It is like I'm being forced to make conversation at gunpoint, and I know the other person I'm talking to can feel it, meaning can feel my anxiety about it. Do you have any advice for interacting with large groups of strangers? Feeling comfortable when you're meeting someone for the first time. Do you ever feel this way? Thanks, Dr. Kirk. I really appreciate you, and please never stop making the podcast. End of email. Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, great question. And I can relate because this happens to me. The first thought I had when I was listening was, first off, congratulations. I mean, it sounds like you're really working against anxiety and then making a good life for yourself as a result, experiencing the fruits of that. So many of the time we run from the things that scare us and then our lives shrink as a result. So it's really cool to hear that that's what you're doing for yourself. Fantastic. You have the choice to do nothing about the large group thing. I mean, if your life is good enough, then, so be it. I'm not going to treat everything that scares me. Spiders, I'm good with being afraid of spiders. That's fine.
Right. Let me just chime in there on that one, because that's a good point, that to get your needs met, you don't have to be able to meet new people at events or in large groups.
Right.
I understand why you would want to change that, but you can live a perfectly happy life getting all your needs met, having never been good at that, or even in your current state of avoidance of that. Like that's not a big deal, unless I suppose you have a specific need that can only be met. But it doesn't sound like that's the case.
No, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like this is a specific circumstance. Large groups of people are the trigger for anxiety. The other thought that occurred to me was maybe you would benefit from having a plan. Like, these are my 5 things that I'm going to have at the ready so that anxiety, when it robs me of my capacity to think, I'm not going to be relying on that because I have my little note card that says, ask about thus and such and talk about that and such and ask this question and whatever, just to kind of give it a shot to keep things moving. And, maybe it's degrees of awkwardness, maybe perhaps less awkward or slightly more tolerable as opposed to this is an environment that I really enjoy. I'd say if you're mining for friends, then you probably have to get better than you do. But you're saying that you have a really good and satisfying social life. So how big a deal is this like to you? Maybe it's not that big. If this happens like once every 6 months, then, I guess you'll be uncomfortable once every 6 months.
Yeah, because you have friends, you mentioned that, and you've worked hard to get there. So that's usually what we're talking about when we're talking about getting our needs met. So you are asking for advice regarding what to do. Well, this is where CBT is very helpful.
Yeah.
Cognitive therapy has to do with automatic thoughts and belief systems and self-talk and writing new scripts and narratives and schemas, and that's hard work to do. Cognitive therapy can feel simple, but I would describe it as elegant and concise, but not simple. You can work on changing your automatic thoughts and your beliefs that, we've heard a bit of them already in your email. You'll say like, I know the other person I'm talking to can feel it, meaning I don't know what it exactly is. I think it's that they can feel your anxiety, or they can feel, because you say it's like I'm being forced at gunpoint to start a conversation. There's a good chance that other people can't feel it, or they feel something different, or they're noticing something different, or they see it and they don't really care that much. So that's just one thing, and there's probably a whole set of things. So cognitive therapy is powerful when it comes to this, especially if you have someone that knows how to branch off into narrative and to schema and all that kind of stuff, and really takes the time to systematically change the grooves in your brain that are very well worn and easy to engage in those circuits. So it's hard, and it's a habit, and it's based on experience that you have to do with the B part of the CBT, which is the exposure, which you've already done a bit of, but if you did more of, then that also would help.
True.
So that has to do with incremental, usually progressively more anxiety-provoking situations that prove to your neurons that it isn't the way that you think it's going to go, or that you have experienced in the past, partially because of your own way of approaching that. So there's that. The other thing I'll say is I absolutely can relate. I'm generally not a shy person, but there are contexts in which I will that feeling. It's been a while, but that feeling of used to happen a lot, where I would be at an event. Let's say I'm at an event of my wife's, for example, and I don't really know anyone, or a friend has invited me to something, or I'm at a work event and I don't really know people, or literally I'm at the university and I'm with people I've been working with for 20 years, and we're at a baby shower for one of our colleagues, and I just feel like an outsider, even though I'm not, but I don't fit into any particular clique or something. And so I'm just sitting there and everyone's having conversations and I'm just staring at my phone or staring at the ground, or doing that kind of awkward thing where you're standing next to a circle of people that are talking and you're just trying to act like you're one of the crowd, and you don't know if you should chime in, and if you do, like I remember there was this one time at the university, we were all around the copy machine in the kind of main office lobby thing, and people were making a joke about like speed running or something, and the fast runner, I think, got caught for doping in the aughts. His name was, I think, Michael Johnson or something like that. It was something kind of like Michael Jordan, but not. Oh,
Michael Johnson was a sprinter.
Right. So Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was nervous, and everyone else knew each other a lot more because they were all. This is the university that I've worked at for years.
Right.
But the office people, like the HR people and the receptionist, and they all hang out all day long, and they're also very extroverted because they're receptionist people and stuff. And I walk in and I'm trying to like fit in because I have to use the copy machine. And this was literally like 15 years ago. Every once in a while this pops in my head. And I wanted to make a Michael Johnson joke, but I think I said Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson. And as I said it, it just sounded wrong to me, but I couldn't determine if because I don't, as I demonstrated earlier, I'm like, was his name Michael Johnson?
Right.
And so I took a risk. And also, I easily could have said, like, wait, was it Michael Johnson? But I just didn't want to say anything because I was shy and ashamed and felt like an idiot and felt like I just wanted to crawl into a hole. Because as soon as I said it, everyone just sort of like looked at me. Now, it's possible that none of them really knew who Michael Johnson was or Michael Jordan, or, I mean, of course, everyone knows Michael Jordan, but they might not have known that I was making a stupid joke. I'll tell you for sure, no one fucking thought about it 5 minutes later, and I'm still thinking about it 15 minutes later. 15 years later. So, yeah, I know how that feels. Sure. At my university, another instance that would absolutely astonish me was 30 years into being there, I would be in a meeting of like 15 people of other professors that we would meet every, few weeks in this way, because there's these set meetings that you go to. And we'd be going around the room introducing ourselves, and my heart would start to race. I mean, what the fuck? I'm like chair of the program at this point. I'm the senior professor in the room. I know how to fucking introduce myself. I'm at work with friends and colleagues. I'm a fucking professor that stands in front of crowds of people and talks. And yet, as it's coming around to me, I'm starting to freak out. Obviously I have some experiences or traumas that you would say about humiliation or embarrassment or shame or screwing things up or shyness or whatever. And my body just kicks in. And I just thought, and the fact that I would beat myself up about it, and it would come out funny. I would have a shaky voice, and that's not wonderful to think about, that you can be programmed. Fucking your boss has a hard time introducing himself in a meeting of people that he works with for years.
Right.
He's at his place of work, right. And his voice is getting shaky just introducing himself to a new person in the room. You know what I mean? Just like, hi, my name's Dr. Kirkhana. Right. I'm chair of the couple and family therapy
I'm your
program.
Boss.
Yeah. And I like, indie music or something. Right. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking embarrassing. Yeah. I've been there. And, but it's okay. But with exposure, by repeating with that, eventually it got easier for me.
Right.
I used to have to take beta blockers, the drug that you take to.
I remember that.
I took that for the first 20 years of teaching. Mm-hmm. Every time I went to class, I took one of these performance. It's not really a psychotropic. It's actually like a blood pressure medication, yeah. But it blocks the process of fight or flight, so that when you're standing in front of a crowd, you might have nervousness of sorts, but it doesn't cause that heart racing and the sweat and the kind of shaky voice. So you're intellectually anxious and your amygdala is engaged, but your body isn't having that fight or flight, which can cause a feedback loop, because as you start to have a shaky voice, you get more nervous and da-da-da. So I would take this medication. 20 years in to being a professor, I was still taking that. Even teaching, pretty easy classes like case consultation or something, where there's where there's 5 students, Right. And that's a different sort of thing than what you're talking about, patron, Jess from Australia, but it's similar. So
but it is a reasonable potential thing to do to help with that situation. Why not? It's not habit forming.
Right. So you can think about that. But yeah, everyone is like that. That's the thing that shy people don't really internalize. Everyone is shy. Everyone beats themselves up when they drive home after going to a party because they said something stupid. Everyone gets nervous when there's, everyone's going to introduce themselves. Like we have a white elephant party at my house, and when it comes around to me, I get fucking nervous. It's my fucking party. These are all my friends. And even after a couple beers that are supposed to, help with this sort of thing, I'm still like, oh my God, what do I say? I'm going to make an idiot out of myself. And, I'm in my 50s, and why? But It's normal. And everyone else is likely having a similar thing, but they have different ways of dealing with it. Some people are just more familiar with it, or they just ramble. Other people just have more grace around this sort of thing. But everyone has concern at the very least. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is where cognitive therapy kicks in. This is where behavioral therapy kicks in. But also you, as we were saying earlier, you want to focus on your needs, not overcoming anxieties that you feel like you're supposed to overcome because you're a bad person if you don't or something. Now, I understand it would get kind of annoying if you're just in the course of your life and you're like completely freezing. Oh, the other thing I'll say is that eventually what I started to tell myself was, if I'm in a context where it's just not easy for me to integrate socially into the group, I will have a smile and I will just kind of grin and bear it. I'm not having a great time because I'm not having a conversation. Everyone else seems to be conversing and joking around, and I don't know anyone well enough. And if there's a way in on a conversation, I'll try, but there's a chance that even if I do things perfectly, it's not going to really work that well. So I'm just going to do that. And if anyone thinks that I look like an idiot because I'm being quiet, fuck them. And I'm just going to sit here and, figure out, or literally what I have done in recent times is I'll leave or I'll go to the bathroom and sit in the stall and, just call someone or play a game on my phone or something. Right. Because I just have better things to do than to sit in an awkward situation that I don't really see a way out of. And I'm not particularly shy. I just think it's normal to be in a situation sometimes where you're just like not in the mood, or it just doesn't seem to be working out, or you just don't really want to get into it with people. I was in a situation recently where that happened, where I did know everyone pretty well. It was a sort of a work colleague kind of get together thing. And I don't know. I just didn't really want to put in the effort. And so I just wandered away for a while and came back, So there's just a lot of different options available to you other than just sitting there and beating yourself up and thinking that there's something wrong with you, Right. Anyway, anything more to add to that, Bob?
No, that was thorough.
Let's take a break. We get back, will be for patrons of the podcast. So join us there, patrons, or sign up and become a patron. Otherwise, please take care of yourself because
you deserve it.